The scooter sputtered twice, coughed like it was dying a dramatic death, and then refused to move another inch. Aisha stared at the handle in disbelief, as though sheer frustration could magically fix the machine. Traffic rushed around her in chaotic waves, auto rickshaws honking, the city buzzing with its usual impatience, but her brain was louder than all of it. No, 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 no. Not today, she whispered, slapping the handle uselessly. You had one job. The scooter, naturally, did not care. It stayed dead, stubborn and immovable in the late afternoon heat. Aisha exhaled sharply and stepped off, dragging it to the side of the road. Her cousin's engagement was only a few hours away, and she still had a dozen things to handle: dress, makeup, gift, sanity. And now this. She rubbed her forehead, mentally calculating the cost of a breakdown today: taxi fare, wasted time, humiliation at walking in late while her nosy relatives questioned why she was single, again. Her chest tightened. Not today. A lone mechanic shop sat tucked between a pharmacy and a tea stall. Habib Auto Garage, the faded signboard read. It looked simple, almost old-fashioned. Tools hung on the walls, scooters lined up in various stages of surgery, and the faint scent of grease and burning engine oil lingered in the air. Inside, a man knelt beside a motorcycle, sleeves rolled up, fingers moving with practiced precision. He didn't look up immediately, but his voice reached her, calm and low. 1 second. His hair was slightly tousled, his white t-shirt smeared with grease, a wrench balanced in one hand. He had the silent confidence of someone who knew exactly what he was doing, and didn't need to say it. Aisha stood there awkwardly, wiping a tiny bead of sweat from her temple. When he finally rose, she felt her breath catch unexpectedly. His eyes were a striking warm brown, thoughtful and focused. Not the bored, disinterested look most mechanics gave customers. There was something sharp behind them, something observant, almost refined. Yes, he asked simply. My scooter died, she said, motioning helplessly toward the pathetic machine outside. It just gave up on life. His lips twitched, almost a smile, but not quite. He walked past her, stepping outside to inspect it. Aisha followed, suddenly feeling like a child trailing a teacher. He touched the scooter with the same care he'd given the motorcycle, running fingers along the engine, checking the ignition. How long has it been making noise before stopping? He asked. She blinked. Wait, it makes noise. I thought it was supposed to do that. He finally looked at her, and this time, the smile made a brief, but real, appearance. Engines do make noise, but distressed engines, very different story. Oh, she cleared her throat, feeling foolish. Then yes, it definitely screamed for help. He crouched down again, examining something. It's overheating. Oil leak. You've been riding it like this for a while. I didn't realize, she muttered. His voice was soft, not judging. Most people don't. Machines talk, but not everyone listens. She squinted at him. Who talked like that, poetic and mechanical at the same time? Can you fix it? She asked. Yes, he answered, rising to his feet. Give me an hour. An hour. Her eyes widened. I have to be somewhere. His brow lifted slightly. A mechanic, not a magician. Fair point. She pressed her lips together, then sighed. Okay, I guess I'll wait here. You can sit inside, he offered, nodding toward the small waiting stool near his workbench. Or there's tea next door. I don't drink tea. He paused, as if evaluating whether that was a personal flaw. Water. Then, she shook her head. I'm good. I'll wait. He nodded once and returned to the scooter. She watched him work, tools glinting under the light, movements precise. He wasn't like other mechanics she'd seen. No loud chatter, no rushed or careless actions. Every gesture looked practiced, efficient. He wiped engine parts gently, tightened screws with measured force. It was oddly calming. She sat on the stool, trying not to stare but failing miserably. Who looked like that and worked at a roadside garage? He had a face that belonged in glossy magazine spreads or a high-end business lounge, not here with grease on his jaw and engine oil staining his fingers. After a few minutes, he spoke without looking up. You can relax. I'm not going to steal your scooter. She blinked, startled. I wasn't thinking that. You're watching me like you expect me to run off with it. I was just admiring your work ethic, she lied. He chuckled. Quiet, Low, warm. Sure. She pursed her lips, affronted. I mean it. You're very focused. So are people who watch crime scenes, he replied smoothly. A blush crawled up her neck. I am not. It's okay, he said, finally glancing at her again. You're anxious. Happens. How do you know I'm anxious? He wiped his hands on a cloth, leaning slightly against the scooter. You keep tapping your foot, your phone, and your fingers. That's 3 anxious behaviors at once. Plus, you keep checking the time. Aisha froze, staring down at her foot, which indeed was tapping the ground furiously. Wow, she muttered. Do you have a degree in psychology too? A faint smirk. Engineering. Her eyebrows shot up. Really? He turned back to the scooter. Not all knowledge comes from grease and metal. Then, why are you here? She asked before she could stop herself. He paused. A flicker in his eyes. Not annoyance, not discomfort, but something unreadable. I like working with machines up close. The world feels honest here. That was a strange answer. Beautiful, but strange. So what's your name? She asked. Ryan, he said simply. Aisha. He nodded in acknowledgement, then returned to his silence and tools. She watched him again, this time more openly. Ryan. It suited him. Quiet, composed, vaguely mysterious. She wondered if he always worked like this, hidden away while the city rushed past him, never noticing the man with grease-stained hands and eyes that looked like they had seen more of life than anyone standing outside a luxury showroom. Her phone buzzed. A message from her mother. Don't forget to come early. Your cousin's fiance's family will ask about you. Don't say anything silly, and wear something elegant. Aisha groaned under her breath, letting her head fall forward. Perfect. Another evening of subtle interrogation. When are you settling down? Why are you still single? Don't be so choosy. Everyone finds someone eventually. She peeked at Ryan again. He was tightening a bolt, completely unaware that her life was quietly suffocating under expectations and societal whispers. She wondered briefly what his world was like. Peaceful, maybe. Simple. Free from interference. A place where nobody cared if you were married or successful or conventionally impressive, just whether you could fix a broken engine and understand a machine's quiet language. A strange longing tugged at her chest. He finished the repair and stood, wiping his hands again. It will run fine now. But take it easy for a few days. It needs servicing soon. How much do I owe you? She asked, reaching for her wallet. He shook his head. It was a small fix. No charge. She blinked. No, that's not. Consider it a favor. Why? He shrugged lightly. You looked like you needed one. Aisha stared at him, stunned by the unexpected kindness. Something warm and unfamiliar settled in her chest. Thank you, she said softly. He nodded once, expression unreadable again. Try not to fight with the scooter next time. She laughed, shaking her head as she climbed on. As she rode away, she found herself glancing back, not at the scooter, but at him. The quiet mechanic with mystery in his eyes. Aisha reached home in a whirlwind of frustration, relief, and nerves tangled so tightly she felt like she was walking through smoke. Her scooter hummed properly again, thanks to the mysterious mechanic, but that had only solved half her crisis. She was still alone, single, and expected to appear tonight like she had everything together while everyone, especially her ex and his brand new fiancé, would watch her with pity dressed as politeness. She dropped her bag on the sofa, kicking off her shoes as if they personally offended her. Her mother looked up from the dining table, where she sat surrounded by jewelry boxes and fabrics as if preparing a royal coronation. You're late, she said immediately. The words slapped Aisha harder than intended, and she exhaled. Scooter trouble. Again. Her mother sighed dramatically. That thing is ancient. Why don't you just get rid of it? Buy a car. Or better, get married. Your husband can buy you one. Aisha stared at her. Yes, mother. That is definitely how the world works. Transportation by marriage. Don't argue. Her mother scolded, already picking earrings from a pile. Wear these tonight. Simple but classy. And remember to smile. Your aunt's family keeps asking about you. Aisha bit her cheek, forcing patience. I didn't realize my face was a family project. Her mother shot her a look. Don't start. This is a big day. Behave nicely. These events are where girls meet good families. There it was again. Marriage. The currency of validation. Aisha turned away before her irritation became visible enough to start another lecture. She headed to her room, shutting the door a little too firmly. The quiet inside felt like a breath of air after hours underwater. She sat at her vanity, staring at her reflection, hair frizzy from the heat, eyeliner smudged, expression exhausted. "You look like you fought a dragon," she muttered to herself. To be fair, life was close enough. She dabbed at her face, smoothing her makeup. She could feel her pulse racing. Not from the scooter issue, not from her mother's endless commentary, but from the looming dread of seeing him. Armin, her ex, the one who had told her 6 months ago that she was too independent, as if wanting to build her career before settling down was a flaw. And now he was engaged, to someone who apparently fit the perfect family mold better. Tonight wasn't about him, she reminded herself. But her stomach still twisted at the thought of walking in alone and pretending she didn't care. Her phone buzzed on the table. A friend. "He's coming with his fiancée. Prepare yourself." Aisha groaned. "Wonderful. Just wonderful." She leaned back, staring at the ceiling. She needed armor, confidence, presence, something that screamed she had moved on and was thriving. A date. The thought hit suddenly, like a mischievous spark. If she walked in with someone confident, charming, even pretend, she wouldn't have to endure pitying stares or whispered comments about how she still had time. Her heartbeat quickened not with panic, but with a crazy, absurd idea. Her mind flashed to the mechanic. Ryan, the calm, grounded, unexpectedly intriguing man who fixed her scooter like it was a breathing thing. The one whose eyes held secrets and patience. Absolutely ridiculous. She shook her head. "Aisha, you are officially losing it." But the idea wouldn't leave. She imagined walking in with him. Tall, composed, mysterious. Her relatives would trip over themselves guessing who he was. Armin's smug smile would crack. And she would have one evening where she didn't feel like she was failing life's expectations. Still absurd. He was a stranger. She had met him for barely an hour. He owed her nothing. But desperation made people bold. 20 minutes later, dressed in a soft emerald outfit and clutching her courage like a lifeline, she took a deep breath and walked out. "Ready?" her mother asked, giving her an approving once-over. "Good. Try to stand straight tonight." Elegance is confidence. "Amazing," Aisha muttered. "And here I was thinking confidence came from achievements and self-worth. Turns out it was posture." Her mother ignored the sarcasm and walked away. The evening sun had begun to dip when Aisha reached the street. She glanced toward the auto garage, not sure whether she was looking out of curiosity, fate, or pure foolish bravery. Ryan was there, sitting on a stool, wiping tools with calm, methodical motions. He looked like he belonged to silence itself, untouched by chaos. The world rushed around him, yet he seemed still, grounded. He didn't notice her at first, and she hesitated, fingers curling around the strap of her clutch. Walking toward him felt like stepping off a cliff. "Ryan." Her voice came out softer than intended. He looked up. Recognition flickered in his eyes, followed by curiosity when he saw how dressed up she was. "You need the scooter again?" he asked lightly. She shook her head. "No, I actually need something else." He waited, patient and unreadable, making it 10 times harder to say the insane words about to leave her mouth. She took a breath. "I know this sounds crazy, but I need a favor." His brows lifted slightly. "There's an engagement tonight," she rushed on. "My cousins and my ex will be there. With his new fiancée." She swallowed, embarrassment heating her cheeks. "I don't want to walk in alone. I don't want to look like I'm still stuck or pitied." Her voice faltered. She forced herself to keep going. "So I need someone to go with me. Just pretend. One evening. Nothing else." She looked at him, desperate hope shining stronger than pride. "Can you pretend to be my boyfriend for a day?" Silence. The world seemed to pause. Traffic noise muffled, breeze holding its breath, her pulse echoing in her ears. Ryan simply stared at her. For a terrifying second, she thought he would laugh. She would have to backtrack, pretend it was a joke, crawl into a hole and never emerge. But he didn't laugh. He didn't look annoyed either. Instead, something in his eyes shifted, interest, amusement, intrigue, maybe a mix of all. "You're serious," he said quietly. Yes. Her voice came out small but steady. I know it's absurd. You can say no. Please say no if you're uncomfortable. I just didn't know who else to ask. Another moment of silence. He looked at her like he wasn't just seeing her dress or panic, but the vulnerable truth behind it. Why me? He asked finally. She blinked. Because you seemed kind. And you helped me without asking anything. And because I don't think you'd embarrass me. He studied her, eyes softening just slightly. Then he stood, wiping his hands slowly. What time? Her breath caught. You mean you'll do it? He nodded once. One evening. Pretend boyfriend. That's the deal. Yes, she whispered, unable to hide the relief in her voice. He looked at her dress again, as if assessing something. Give me 30 minutes to clean up. She exhaled, tension melting into disbelief. Okay, I'll wait. Ryan turned back to his tools, calm as ever, as though she hadn't just dragged him into a ridiculous charade. Aisha stepped back, heart pounding wildly. What had she just set in motion? And why, deep inside, did it feel like something had shifted? Something far bigger than a pretend date.